Yeah, we're right to you, baby.
All right, that's fine.
We're going for the truth today. Mike doesn't even know what we're talking about.
No idea. Somebody slap me when they need me.
Done. Will do.
I mean, the only reason I have ever played in a tournament with you is because it was dumb luck.
Yeah, it was blind draw.
It was blind draw.
That is the essence of a blind draw right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stick and Hack Show, a sophisticated and brilliant look into the world of golf from a stick and a hack. Now, your hosts, Mike Ryan and Adam Grubb.
All right, everybody, welcome in. This is the Stick and Hack Show. I'm your host, Adam Grubb. That's Mike Ryan, the stick right there. It is, it's the holiday season, Mike. It's the holiday season.
Absolutely.
And I know that because every weekend is
as you can
packed.
see behind me. Right
Yes.
here.
Oh, yes. You got the tree. And for those of you listening, just pretend there's a tree behind you. The holiday season is here because every weekend is packed. I am stressed and I have no money. So that's how I know it's the holiday season. But also, Mike, I know it's holiday season because we are doing the best of the Stick and Hack Show, which really is the year in review this year. So we tried the best of. It's been a real struggle to get the best of in the past. I've asked Shane, hey, can you find some good moments of Stick and Hack Show?
Slim pickings.
68 hours later, he's like, I got one clip. I'm like, we had 34 shows. It's like, I got one clip. So this year we've decided to do the Stick and Hack year in review because it arguably, Mike, over the last 18 months have been in some of the most incredible storylines of golf, some of the most stirring news updates that we've heard, as well as just an incredible space for golf fans right now. Over the last year, Mike, what would you say off the cuff, no preparation, which I know you love, what would you say your top moment of the year would be that sticks in your head the most? And you can't say Tiger.
No, it's Bryson versus Brooks, man. That's my number one for this year. At least that pops in my mind immediately.
So Bryson versus Brooks.
I think the two of them they add a little spice to the PGA Tour this year. Little WWE action, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
They're kind of going in that direction. But you know, they both had, well, Brooks had an okay year. Bryson had a decent year. But when you get the two of them on the course and, you know, they're talking smack to each other, I think that's just grade A television.
It's good fodder, isn't it? It's good fodder.
Absolutely.
All right, so your top moment was that, and that's great. I'm gonna go with one of the easy ones, and that's Phil winning a major. I think that's such a great moment for golf. It's a great moment for Phil, and it's fun because Phil's personality has really started to come out over these last couple years, and his killer attitude that he's never really had a killer attitude, but he's had this kind of in the shadows of Tiger, in the shadows a little bit of some of the greats. But over the last couple years, he's turned a corner for me. I used to think he was annoying. I thought he was hokey. I found him extremely annoying to watch, and I don't feel that anymore.
Quick poll: is Phil more famous now, or his calves more famous?
Phil is still more famous than his calves, and anytime,
Are you sure?
Yes. There's only one. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope.
I still think he should have a Twitter account that's just Phil's calves.
Oh God! And it would kill. It would absolutely kill. There'd be more followers in the first 12 nanoseconds than we've ever had. We would even dream of having. Right?
Just throwing that out there, Phil. If you listen to the Stick and Hack Show, Twitter account for your calves.
Yeah. And if you're listening to Stick and Hack Show, then you need to have your head examined.
And I get 5% of the proceeds.
That's ironic. So here's the other point, Mike, with Phil is that he brought a different attitude to winning a major, and that's one of the top moments we're going to talk about. But you and I are not golf aficionados, despite having a golf brand, despite having a golf show. I would put myself in the way back of that bus. I'd put you in the middle. We're going to bring somebody who's at the front of the bus when it comes to PGA and LPGA news and information and the truth. He's a truth seeker. And he is here now on the Stick and Hack Show for the year in review. He's also my co-host on Stick and Hack Reacts, host of the Pro Show, ESPN Radio, a PGA professional, creator of Read the Line. He's going to be a guest on the show next year in a full format. Today, we need him only for the facts. Keith Stewart joins us here on the Stick and Hack Show for the year in review. Keith, happy holidays, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you both. I thought you were going to close that by saying we need him today, not for the facts, but to drive the short bus. That's
Well,
where you were going
they're
with
kind
that.
of one and the same, aren't they? When you think about it.
Well, in this case, yes.
Well, it's what an entrance for Mr. Stewart. So Keith, you've got a tie on today for us. We appreciate you dressing up. Thank you. Mike looks like he's in the Himalayas. He's all bundled up. He's got 25 layers on. He's having some.
I'm just sporting the swag, man.
Got it, baby.
That's all
I
I'm doing.
appreciate it. We got Stick and Hack swag all over the place here. If you're watching on the video. So Keith, this year, arguably one of the most fascinating years in recent memory in golf. And so we want to talk about the top 3 moments that we feel, but also hear your thoughts. And we'll start with the top moment of 2021 golf, which is the LPGA and what they accomplished this year, what that group of professionals accomplished, not just with their swagger and their play and their on-course talent, but what they started as far as conversation is concerned with female athletics and female professional sports. I think the LPGA had a banner year and all accounts for everything golf. Your thoughts on that? And as a year in review, where would you put the LPGA and their superstars?
Well, it's definitely a top 5 story, guys. It's been a long year for everyone in many respects. And, few of us remember all the way back to last December, this time, or last January, where we weren't sure that how those seasons were going to come together. And the LPGA is truly a world tour. I think in the upcoming year, they're going to do about 7 or 8 events all over the world, a number in the United States. So, they had a lot of question marks at the start of the year. And then, if anything else, who was going to step up and be that it person to kind of help sell the brand? And not only did they get one, but they got a bunch of them. But certainly the first name that comes to my mind is certainly Nelly Korda. The Korda sisters start out by winning the first 2 events of the year. And Nelly, she's 23 years old, and she had one heck of a year. A gold medal. She wins her first major. 4 wins, 10 top 10s in 19 events. That's like Mike's record at the club over you, Adam.
Might be better. Might be just a tad better, but it's pretty damn close.
All right, you want better then?
Yeah.
How about Jin Young Ko, right? Okay. She had 5 wins this year, 13 top 10s, $3.5 million. It's just those 2 going head to head. If we get that lucky in men's golf to maybe get Colin and Rahm to go head to head like that, we had that all year this year. I think that's one of the things that made the LPGA really stand out in my mind. And they had just a number of stories. And when they had to pivot, they did it really well. The team there, they lost Mike Wan. They brought in Molly Marcoux-Samaan, great hire. Their branding, their messaging, everything was on point. They came back really strong. And for all intents and purposes, like on your lead-in, I truly believe that they're the ones that are going to lead the way when it comes to women's sports and kind of going next level in the eyes of, fandom.
Mike, you were part of a moment too here. We had Brittany Linsa come on the program on the Stick and Hack show just a few weeks ago, and she brought up the point around coverage of the LPGA. And this is something that was also, and I hate to turn it negative, but this was also one of those story points of the year for the LPGA, is that the amount of times that the coverage was cut, that the stream was cut, that they didn't finish some of their coverage. Mike, when you were talking to Brittany about it, did you realize how big of an issue it really was in the inner ranks of the LPGA?
I think I knew. It was obvious it was an issue, but I think with that tournament where they just cut things off, that was kind of like it coming to a head and being kind of like impossible to ignore at that point. But she made some good points on the episode that they're out there doing such great things and they're working so hard. I'm sure it's frustrating for a lot of them to not get that coverage. And, I think we'll see some progress made. But I think it's one of those things that it's, unless you kind of stay on it, I don't know how much progress you will make. But I think there are enough people that are making noise now about it that I think you'll see something start to happen there.
Well, I think the LPGA did something really cool too, and this is, I think this is Michelle Wee with the sweatshirt. And I know sounds so silly, right, Keith? But they had a sweatshirt that really took off in all facets, not just in golf, but it surpassed into the NBA and to other major athletes sporting the LPGA brand and saying, "Hey, this is the real deal." And I don't remember that being in the sporting world conversation years ago. LPGA is here, and they are better than they've ever been, and that's a huge storyline, right, Keith?
Definitely a huge storyline. It was the end of the year where the coverage lapsed at the end of the Pelican Women's Championship. But, I mean, let's go back to the Women's U.S. Open. You have a 19-year-old in Yuka Saso. She's in a 3-hole playoff, and NBC turns on gymnastics qualifying for the Olympics, of all things, right? Yeah. And, I mean, this was their
That was a request by Shane, though, Keith. Producer Shane requested that. So, blame somebody, blame him.
I will blame him then, because he got his wish. And, you had this amazing 3-hole playoff at the Olympic Club, huge moment for women's sports and equality of coverage and everything. And then NBC shifted. So I definitely think that amongst all of these challenges that the LPGA had this year, they really have stepped it up. And they have young winners, they have older winners. Where, some of the major winners on the men's side, I get the Phil thing and everything, and, Rahm, those were some great storylines, but really the women's side provided just, way more highs, I think, if you kind of look at the whole the entire season as a whole. And I think it's a great top 5 moment for the year, and I'm glad you guys brought it up.
Keith Stewart is with us here from ESPN Radio and host of the Pro Show and creator of Read the Line. And also, Stick and Hack reacts with me. He is going through the top moments of the year in the year in review of the Stick and Hack Show. You talked about the majors a second ago. Let's talk about it now. The majors and the PGA, we had some rookie winners. We had a 50-year-old winner who will not let us forget that he won the PGA Championship at every chance that he has in Phil Mickelson. Let's go through the majors. The top storyline is always the majors and the winners. Why was this year different? Was this year great? What was the year in review? Keith.
Oh, going to me?
Yeah, well, right to you, baby.
All right, that's fine.
We're going for the truth today. Mike doesn't even know what we're talking about.
No idea.
Mike's still thinking about Louis' major season.
Yeah, he goes, I'm just over here drinking my coffee, and somebody slap me when they need me.
Done. Will do.
Perfect.
Oosthuizen goes, 26th, second, and third in the 4 majors this year. And if you throw in the ones from last year that we had to reschedule, that U.S. Open, he came in third, the one that Bryson won at Winged Foot, and then the Dustin Johnson Masters, he was like top 25. I mean, what a year that was, and he didn't even win a major, and we're talking about him. So, I mean, I think it's one of those things where my most lasting image of the major season has to be Matsuyama's caddy at the Masters, putting the pin back in and then bowing to the golf course. I think that was one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen in golf. I mean, we talk about Augusta National with such reverence, or the history of the U.S. Open and the history of the Open Championship, but that guy basically summed up the year, in my mind, with that one move when Shota Hayafuji just went over there and he just bowed. I mean, I thought that was one of the coolest things. What do you think was one of the coolest things, Mike, from this year?
Well, that you kind of took it out of my mind. That moment there was, for me, I couldn't believe, that was something that just kind of gave me chills when it happened, and it was such a cool gesture. And I was on top of the fact that Matsuyama winning, in my mind, is huge for golf in general. Just with the explosion of golf in Asia. And I think that has just fueled that even further. And that's all, I mean, we're going to see in the future. I think golf in Asia is just going to continue to explode. And I think that was a little bit of a kind of a fire starter there for that.
Mine was Rahm. I know that sounds corny because I'm not a huge Rahm fan. I mean, him winning the U.S. Open, but it stands out for me because I was at the U.S. Open, and so I was able to see that firsthand, see that experience, and see the experience of the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines was next level, even with limited crowd. But he had his foot on the gas the entire weekend, and I was excited for him to have a young winner of a major. The Open is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was probably easier this year than most due to where it was, and that might be controversial. But nonetheless, I don't think it was a incredibly difficult U.S. Open. But I thought Rahm winning was awesome for him and for his family. He was a new dad. All the storylines that kind of run into Father's Day weekend and all that, they hit hard for Jon Rahm this year. But all in all, Keith, I mean, the major season was relatively. You got Phil, you got Rahm, Matsuyama. Who's the fourth winner? I don't even know who the hell Yeah, Morikawa. Thank you. So you got some young blood in there, and some new winners. There was some storylines to talk about. Was this an incredible major season in your opinion?
Well, Adam, real quick, I just want to go back to your guy Rahm. I mean, from Mike's perspective, great player and everything. Let's say Mike's in the member with you. You guys are winning by 10. And then Mike gets COVID and he has to stop playing before the final round. I mean, that was 2 weeks before the U.S. Open that Rahm won. I mean, he was boat racing the field at the Memorial, right? And then, he gets sidelined. I mean, how about that? What he had to overcome. You talk about the U.S. Open, the golf course being tough. That guy just had to be healthy to get there. And then he had that amazing birdie finish. And it was Father's Day and he was there with his son. And I mean, I thought that was Rahm was a pretty big storyline when it came to his challenges with COVID throughout the year, and then he couldn't go to the Olympics, and he became the number one golfer in the world. So I think that I kind of like your choice of him winning the U.S. Open as far as like a guy really, really getting it done no matter what happens. Similar to the story of the LPGA. I mean, the whole year was like a year of redemption. Right, in many ways, when you talk about Spieth and Finau and Lydia Ko and all these people coming back to the winner's circle, and for whether it was the LPGA pivoting with all of the COVID challenges and scheduling, or majors being moved around, and I mean, how about the fact that we really didn't have fans? My second kind of craziest, most memorable image of the year when it comes to the men's majors was the 18th hole at Kiowa, because up until that point, there had been fans at the Players, and there was a little bit of control over the fans, and a very small, group of people there at Augusta. But we really hadn't seen like crazy rabid fans at a major championship. And then at Kiowa, you remember the 18th fairway? Brooks was getting kicked in the knee, and Phil was like, walking up there like, St. Patrick, pulling the snakes out of Irelanders. I mean, it was like unbelievable. And then to me, that was kind of like golf's coming out party, because I felt like people were like coming ashore, like on the ocean course there. It was kind of crazy. So those types of challenges and the way we came back to them, I think really kind of encapsulate what was happening in the majors this year.
And I want to go back to something you said, Keith, and this is important for the listener to understand. If Mike and I were ever in a member, there's a good chance Mike quits the club. I'm just honest to God. I can't think of a situation in life where he would say, this sounds like a good idea. For Adam Grubb, the hack, and I to be in a member tournament to where there's money on the line and or a trophy, I can't think of a situation where he would say, yeah, I'm going to continue on with this. He would quit the club and move out of the county. There's no doubt in my mind. How's that hit?
Accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Year in review here.
I mean, the only reason I have ever played in a tournament with you was because it was dumb luck.
It was blind draw.
It was blind draw.
That is the essence of a blind draw right there.
This is the Stick and Hack Year in Review. I'm Adam Grubb. It's Mike Ryan there, the Stick, and Keith Stewart with us and joining us, talking to us about the year here in the PGA and the LPGA. You can't go a storyline this year without talking about the Ryder Cup. And if anything, that's why we're ending here on the top three moments of the year, arguably the top three moments in our minds. The Ryder Cup. It's been several years since we last had a Ryder Cup. The fever for this specific event was at an all-time high. Whistling Straits, who we had the director of golf on the show, Mike, if you remember correctly, a long time ago, talking about canceling when he had to cancel the Ryder Cup and moving it in a year later. The energy was unbelievable. It was 98% American energy and 2% European energy because of the travel restrictions. A very odd year, but there was no script that was going to be any different than what happened, which was an all-out drubbing by the United States in the Ryder Cup. Mike, I'll start with you. Obviously, everybody loves Ryder Cup. It's incredible. This year, we won. By Saturday afternoon, it was pretty much over. Was there a storyline there that you loved? And from a top 3 moment, Ryder Cup, is that in your list?
Absolutely. Bringing the Ryder Cup back, it wasn't just bringing it back. It was the way they won so decisively. For me personally, I loved watching this Ryder Cup mainly because I got the chance to play Whistling Straits earlier in the year. So it was one of those where really having seen the course and know kind of where they were playing things from and what some of those holes look like and are designed, it was really special for me to watch. I think it sets the stage going forward. The U.S. I think is going to be a juggernaut in the Ryder Cup. They've got so much youth on that team that it's going to be interesting for me to see how Europe kind of retools going forward because they have, I guess you could say they're old at this point. A lot of their best Ryder Cuppers are kind of past their prime at this point. So for me, it's really kind of that sea change, in my opinion, of I think the U.S. is going to be dominant in the Ryder Cup here going forward for a few years.
Keith, your thoughts on the Ryder Cup this year?
I just love the reversal of the storyline. I mean, every ounce of media covering this thing leading up until Friday morning was all over the U.S. team, and what a failure it was. We lost 7 of the last 9. We'd lost like 100 of the last 102. I mean, I just love the fact that it was almost like we created a generational difference. We kind of took the Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson teams and we finally said goodbye to those guys. And then we moved forward to the Patrick Cantleys and the Xanders and the Collins of the world. And, DJ's kind of that go-between, but he's still only in his, upper 30s. So he's definitely a younger guy. And he's part of that generation with Rory and the teams from the other side. I just love that the whole team, everybody scored at least a point. I mean, heck, we had 4 guys that could have won the thing. We had 4 guys that scored 15 points. We scored 19 of 28. I just love that, I love when the media, and you guys appreciate this because you're always telling these stories. Leading up to it was like the sky is falling once again. And then by the minute it was over, it was all about how we're going to do this now for another decade, and for me, I think that was a great story because I think it was really kind of hard on some of those guys like JT and Spieth that had been there before and weren't really doing very well. There was the Patrick Reed controversy and, Webb Simpson didn't make this team and Kevin Kisner didn't make the team. And people were like, oh, we need more grit on this team and we don't need a bunch of this. I mean, we got guys shotgunning beers on the first hole in the middle of the match. I'm cool with that. I mean, you used a great word earlier today, Adam, when you said swagger. I think we really needed some swagger. Ian Poulter has swagger when it comes to the Ryder Cup. And Sergio Garcia has massive swagger when it comes to the Ryder Cup. And I was just happy to see somebody like Patrick Cantlay even be able to look swagger up in the dictionary. It was great, And the guy was dominant. It was awesome, So I think, for me, Ryder Cup's number one story of the year. PGA of America, it's one of our products. We had to wait an extra year for it. There was so much pressure on the higher-ups in my association to at least put something together that was competitive. And then it turned out the way it did. It just couldn't have been any better. We're the 3 of us are on the American side, so, Adam, give me your favorite Ryder Cup moment.
I would say, I think it was Jordan. Jordan's shot from that side hill there. I don't know what hole it was, and if you want me to get that information, you're on the wrong show.
It was 17.
It might have been 17. Thanks, Mike.
It was 17.
Great. Who cares? This shot was this shot tracer shot that goes up out of screen and comes back down. It was an impossible spot, alternate shot, which is already difficult enough, and he has put in the most impossible shot position, and he pulled it off. That has been replayed and is one of those Ryder Cup moments and one of those just showcasing the dominance of U.S. golf at the time. That to me was an iconic moment of that, and the shotgunning beer because it looked like a Stick and Hack Challenge day. But nonetheless, I would say Jordan's shot on 17.
I'll be interested to see how that moment plays out, because of the fact, like, I feel like it'll be one of those things they'll show it over and over, but then they'll gloss over the fact that they missed the putt.
Yeah.
It was the greatest shot I've ever seen, and then they missed the putt.
JT, an alternate shot. He missed that putt.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of a Mike Adam combo right there. That is where we would be right.
Absolutely what
right.
Happened, for sure.
I'll tell you.
That's how that would play out, because if it was alternate shot and Mike was hitting that recovery shot, that means Adam put him there, and then Mike hit it to 4 feet, and then Adam missed the hole.
It's 100%. We're on the same page. In fact, the bonus moment, a year in review during the Stick and Hack Challenge, there was a rule this year that if Mike and I birdied 18, that the entire field got -1. They got a birdie on their card, and it could have changed the trajectory of the tournament of the Stick and Hack Challenge day. I hit my tee shot, which is par 3, 150, 160, I don't know. I hit it to 5 feet. Greatest tee shot of my life on that hole. Typically, I'm in the water or out of bounds, and there is no out of bounds, really. You got to be 30 yards left to be out of bounds. I hit it to 5 feet. I could have given the field a birdie. What'd I do, Mike?
Missed the hole.
Push left. No, pull left. Apologies.
Pull left. Yes.
Pull
You're
left.
not left-handed.
Year in review of the hack. He's Keith Stewart. I'm Adam Grubb, and that's Mike Ryan, and we're Stick and Hack. And Keith, who joins us on Stick and Hack Reacts, as well as has the Pro Show. He has been an incredible partner of ours this year. We appreciate, Keith, you coming in, giving us your thoughts on the year in review of the PGA and the LPGA in the golf world. And you opened up a topic that I think we're going to kind of discuss with you next year when you're on the Stick and Hack show. And that is the difference between the PGA Tour, what the PGA owns and what they don't, what the USGA owns and what they don't. That world, to me, and you might find this shocking and surprising, is confusing. And I think our listeners will appreciate the amount of knowledge that you'll bring to us just in what is the landscape of golf, right? And where does everything fit in? Where does everything work? And who owns what? Because a lot of people don't know that. And we'll get into your career and other things, obviously. Keith Stewart will be a guest on the Stick and Hack show at the beginning of 2022. Mike, you had a great year. Everything rocked and rolled for you, as it should, I assume, right? Even keel? Nothing happened?
Wonderful. Even keel. Very boring.
Perfect. Shock of the year. We look forward to seeing everybody next year. Have a happy holiday season. Thank you for being Stick and Hack members and listening to the Stick and Hack show, quite possibly the greatest show in the free world, brought to you by the greatest golf club in the world without the course. We're Stick and Hack. You guys have a good Christmas, good holiday. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Keith.
Happy holidays, guys. Thanks for having me.
Peace out, guys.
Okay, we're done. This has been the Stick and Hack Show. Go to stickandhack.com to become a free member of the world's greatest golf club without the course.